Welcome to TechScope. Today, we're going to talk about how to write better prompts for VEO 3. This is an incredible AI that can turn your text ideas into actual videos.
So you have this amazing idea, right? But how do you actually go from that thought in your head to a stunning high-definition clip with perfectly synced up sound? Well, the secret isn't magic or anything like that. It all comes down to the prompt you write. And this is the single most important rule to remember. The more detail you put in, the more control you get out. It's really that simple. You have to think of yourself as a director. If you give a vague instruction, you're going to get a pretty generic result. But a specific, detailed instruction, that gets you a scene that truly matches what you were picturing. Let's look at a quick example. A basic prompt like a woman walking just leaves way too much up to guesswork. I mean, you'll get a video for sure, but probably not the one you actually imagined. But look at the difference a few details can make. By saying a woman with red hair walks down a rainy city exterior, we've suddenly created a whole mood and set a specific scene. The AI's picture is way clearer, and your result is going to be so much closer to what you really want. Okay, so describing our character in the setting is a great start. But to really, truly elevate your videos, we need to start thinking like a filmmaker. And that means taking control of the one thing that defines a video, the camera itself. And don't worry, you do not need to go to film school to do this. You just need to learn a couple of key phrases. You know, terms like wide shot or close-up tell VEO how to frame your subject. Words like aerial view or tracking shot tell it how to move. You can even get creative with something like a Dutch angle shot to create a feeling of unease, or a slow pullback for a big dramatic reveal. These are the words that turn a simple description into something that feels really cinematic. Let's add that cinematic language to our example from before. Now the prompt says, a tracking shot follows her as the camera pans up to the sky. See how we're layering these instructions? We have our subject, our location, and now specific camera movement. We're telling VEO not just what to show, but how to show it. Combining these elements is the real key to getting precise creative control. Now, this next part is really cool. One of VEO 3's most powerful features is something called unified audio. This means the model doesn't just create visuals, it also generates and synchronizes dialogue, music, and sound effects, all from the very same prompt. For storytelling, this is an absolute game changer. So, how do you use this? Well, the best way to add dialogue is to write it just like you would in a script. As you can see right here, you clearly state who is speaking, and then you just put their line in quotes. This simple, direct format takes away any confusion and tells the model exactly who should say what. But it doesn't just stop with the words. You're not just the scriptwriter here. You're also the acting coach. You can actually direct the emotion in your character's voice to guide the performance and get the exact tone you're looking for. Just look at the power of a single word here. On the left, we've got a neutral delivery. The line gets spoken, but it might not have a lot of impact. But on the right, all we did was add angrily. Now the prompt is directing that emotion, and the entire tone of the performance just shifts. It's such a simple change, but it is an incredibly effective technique. Of course, even the best directors get writer's block. So what do you do when you have an idea, but you're struggling to flesh it out into a full-blown cinematic prompt? Well, here's an advanced tip. Use another AI, like Gemini, to act as your co-director and help you brainstorm. The process is a really simple three-step workflow. First, you set the context. Give Gemini a role, like you are an expert prompt engineer for VEO 3. Second, you provide your basic concept, something as simple as a lonely robot. Finally, you just ask it to expand that idea into a detailed narrative-style prompt using all that cinematic language. It's really like having a creative partner on demand. There's one more powerful tool to add to your kit, image to video. This lets you upload a starting image, maybe a character design, a specific background, or even your company's logo, and then you bring it to life with a text prompt. It's a fantastic way to maintain visual consistency or animate a style you've already created. We've covered a lot today, from adding rich detail and directing the camera to writing dialogue and even using an AI co-director. You now have the fundamental building blocks to transform a simple idea into a compelling living video.
The tools are right there in your hands. So I guess the only question left is, what story will you tell first?